All right, good morning, everybody. First day of the week. We're going to talk about Texas. Like I said, the bloodbath. That's why I drew all this red, like dripping off of blood. In Texas, normally Lone Star State, normally they're stand-up people, and something's going on to where they're not standing up. I don't know what the holdup is, but because of that bloodbath, the states around there, like Michael's over in Oklahoma at the moment, and a lot of the horse nation, like we talked about the horse nation in the past, the horse nation, the hand riding the horse, the front leg of the horse, like the heart of the horse, the udder of the horse. Where Texas has a big call in, the Texans have a big call in if they'll stand up correctly in the Lord Jesus. It's like we don't want Moses to die in this time. Like, Moses, your servant's dead. Your servant Moses dead. So Joshua, Caleb to take the land, even though there's giant principalities or gangsters in the land. And, they've taken the land, and they've, the Trail of Tears and everything. And then they've been allowing them to put casinos in all over the place, which bad wells, they give you all the drinks to loosen up the wallet. And the casino actually implodes the area. It doesn't explode the area, which is supposed to be positive. It doesn't bless the area, it just blesses the principalities in high places. And we have to speak against the principalities in high places in the ones that are spiritual, but then the ones that are equal to, like the gangsters that work for the principality in high places, have to die. Now, two ways you can die. You can give your life to Jesus and live, or you can give your life to keep doing what you're doing and die. Die like man, die like a man. Psalm 82, look up Psalm 82. Die like one of the princes, Lucifer. You can live. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So this is last call for all gangsters, all drug dealers, all people who work for the enemy. It's the last call for you. Death is coming. Death is imminent. Satan's done with you. Satan has used you and abused you, and you've used and abused many people. And it's last call. It's last call. You can roll over and be devoured, be pecked clean by the vultures, your meat suit, or you can live and be the body of Christ. It's your choice. It's your choice. So as we come and try to warn the people, a lot of people think we are calling down the judgments, but we're not. We're trying to warn you that the judgments are here so you can be saved from the judgments, from the face of the enemy. In the book of Revelation, it says the man-child, the woman, which is the true church, the man-child are the ones that come to him like little children. And women, the womb of man, normally means wisdom in different languages. So to be whisked away from the face of the enemy and protected for the seasons, the times and half times, and however you say that, what they call the 3.5 years, which also represents 3.5 days, where Jesus was in the bowels of the earth and resurrected. But the apocalyptic revelation has to come forth to save you. Now, the enemy's people thinking we're calling down the judgments, but they're causing the judgments by working for the devil. And because they have caused many people to coincide with them, to coexist with them in their satanic divisions, satanic corporations, they have to go down now. They're going down now. And of course, we know that they're going to blame all the end time prophets and apostles for all the judgment, because the devil always blames the other guy. He did it, he did it, he did it. And in some ways it's true, because the devil sets you up for failure, and then you have to make a choice. The devil's advocate, he sets you up. You can make a choice to live for him and fear him and die. in hell. Or you can go with Jesus and live. And I'm telling you, it's last call for the nation. It's last call for all the nations. The horse nation goes back to the prophecies of Black Elk and Little Big Man. You know, the horse nation and the apocalypse. He was getting revelation on the apocalypse and the horses, the good and the bad side of the apocalypse and the horses. There's two sides. You've been weighed on the scale and you've been found wanting. And if you don't stand up now, even if you get killed, even if you get martyred for standing up for Jesus, at least you're going to heaven. But if we don't stand up now and declare, which means agree. What we hear from heaven, we echo on the earth. What we hear from heaven, we shofar in the valleys of what's going on. And we talked about in California. Forgive me, I got wood doors in the way of this. You know, that line has been lubricated. Storm warnings. That line with all the storms coming in is lubricant for the San Andreas Fault, which means St. Andrew's Fault line. And, you know, it goes back to some revelation that Andrew was the first disciple, but his brother Peter was the first rock, because Peter could hear Father's voice, Abba's voice. And St. Andrew's Fault line. So things are ratcheting up in intensity. You know, we had the storm Ian, you know, and if you call yourself a Christian, it's Christ, I-A-N, which also is spiritually translated I am. So the storm warning that literally decimated Sanibel Island and Fort Myers Beach came across on this red line. Now, I put this red line on there, so, you know, I forget how many months before the storm came through. Because I'm talking about in the future, this whole area will be decimated. Just as Fort Myers Beach, the storm came in, right where I put the red line, then I drew the black line after the storm came in and went up that way. Now in 2004, storms came in over this way and made the sign of the cross right through here. Two storms came in 10 blocks apart. Now there's 10 plagues in Egypt. 10 plagues in Egypt. If you study, they're against the gods of Egypt, which means the fallen angels. The 10 storm. So the storms that made the sign of the cross in Florida were exactly 10 blocks apart. That the eye wall came in 10 blocks apart, went up this way. And then the other storm came up right here in this exact same spot and went up and across this way to make the sign of a cross on Florida. Now, the storm's name was Hurricane Charlie. Now, Charlie means freedom or free man. Came up through the port of Charlotte, which means port of freedom and free man. Now, the problem is the people won't heed the call. I've been saying this for 20 years, at least 20 years. Well, maybe 17, 18. We not counting exactly, but I've been warning, storm warnings for all this to happen. Now, the videos get knocked down because they don't like anybody tells the truth, especially in this day and hour. Then Facebook puts me in Facebook jail, and it's kind of a jail because it knocks me down to only 2 or 3 people see my news feed. Even if I post these videos on my Facebook, hardly anybody gets to see them. Because the devil don't want you to be warned because he don't want you to be saved. He don't want you to come over to Jesus' side. He wants to devour you. So we're in a time of devouring the devourer, and we have to rebuke the devourer. Now, the more people that come on board with Jesus can actually take over the city, and take over a city and turn everything around. But if things don't change quickly, the city's left for dead. The city's already dying. Lawtown is already dying. It's already left for dead. Their only hope is Jesus. And come quickly, Jesus, and turn things around. And then yesterday he was showing me about all the gas pockets. I was closing my eyes in prayer, and he was just showing me gas pockets. And there's gas pockets all underneath a lot of this property, gas pockets. and through them fracking and pushing the water in to bring the gas up to the surface, we could have tons of area on fire that will consume the people and literally burn them like hell in a lot of these states. And there's an airport out in California that's underneath the biggest gas pocket, and all it takes is a crack in the tarmac and the jet engine to bring a spark to literally blow up that whole town. So I was seeing the whole city's being blown up by gas pockets, and it's man's sin against mankind because they allowed them to frack and put the water in to push the gas up to the surface. So man cannot be sinning against mankind anymore. God's upset that the people in the high places gave themselves over to the principalities in the high places. And so you're bringing the condemnation, you're bringing the judgment on the people. But now Jesus rectified and restored and calls you to be innocent. Once you get on board and become part of his family, you are an innocent person because you're no longer mortal. There is no death to you, even if the body burned clean up. So it was really shocking to see things in the spirit that are about to happen about these, not only the storms, I told you, talked about this several months before the storm came through that went up. And then now see gas pockets exploding all over the place. But I mean, how do you want to be humbled? Do you just want to humble yourself, or you want to be forced to give up your wicked ways? And I'm in fear and trembling. I'm in shock. I have the fear of the Lord, which is utmost respect. The fear of the Lord is the utmost respect for him. And it's a sad time for many, but it's a great time for others because many are going in the marriage supper of the Lamb. Revelation 7:14. And like I say, it coincides with 2 Chronicles 7:14. And if you read 2 Chronicles, Solomon built the temple according to God's ways. Now we have to build up the temple, which is God's people, according to Jesus' ways. And if they will not humble themselves and pray, there's hell to pay. Don't want to pay hell anything. Want to get over to Jesus' side now.